And I can't hold it much longer. Gotta let go so I can be free.
It's Foul Territory live from Red Sox Cam. I'm going to pretty much just step aside because we've got two dudes that know our first guest really well. So Maybin and Kratz on today with Alex Bregman. Cam, why don't you intro your boy?
Yeah, I got to. This guy, Gold Glove. I said it before, one of the best, if not the best, third baseman in the game, and the numbers speak for itself. Playoff legend. This dude, when it's time to show up and show out, my boy is always on time when you need him. So, Alex Bregman, newly Red Sox. Excited to have you on, my boy. How you feeling? New camp, new digs. You look good in red and blue, though. I gotta say it, dog.
Thanks, bro. Feeling good. Excited to get this season kicked off, and it's a great vibe in camp right now. Obviously, I think we got like maybe 8 days left, and then 7 days left. Then we head to Mexico for 2 days, and then open the year in Texas. So everything's trending in the right direction. Guys are feeling good. We've been pretty healthy overall as a team, so looking forward to a good year.
I know Alex is happy to have you back or be back with you. I tell people all the time, some of the most incredible baseball minds I've been around, Alex Cora, Alex Bregman, AJ Hinch, some of these guys know the game. They pay attention to the detail. But like you said, 8 days out from camp, I want you to just tell me before we get going, give me your most memorable opening day while I got my boy Kratz in your head. Please, you talked about
I
it.
I wasn't even in the big leagues. I went and played in the exhibition games in Houston, and Kratz we're watching on TV in Corpus, I think, and Kratz just runs out and trips, falls on his face. We didn't know what was going on, and it was like trending on social media, and we were like, "What in the world is going on?" Kratz, you want to explain what happened?
Yeah, I mean, I got a little extra cash, so I got paid $2,000 to do it. You might as well. I didn't have this big payday coming like you had, first rounder, big baller coming out of the, getting that cash while you're in college already. So I had to put money on the table. I had to put food on the table for the kids. But my question to you, because we were kind of talking about this before, now that you got that newly minted contract, you've made your cash in your career. How much would you have paid me? Because Scott Feldman and Luke Gregerson both gave me a G to do it. So what's Bregman putting in there for me?
I'd have put in another G as well.
I like that.
I'll take an
IOU.
Perfect.
Hey, so new digs, new team. A lot has been talked about position change. You're a guy that came up as shortstop. I know. Even when you played third for Houston Astros, you moved because got a guy Carlos Correa. What's your outlook on this camp? I think when I look at the roster, look at the pitching depth, you were the piece that they needed, right? You shore up the defense. You're incredible controlling the zone in the box. What are you looking forward to the most being a Red Sox?
I think obviously after getting to know all these guys, just going out and competing, obviously I've admired guys like Rafi and Jaron playing against them, and Trevor as well. And first, when it comes to what position, I'll play wherever they want me to play, I'll play. Just want to contribute and try and help this team win ball games. And I think what excites me the most about this team so far is just how locked in everybody is. Everybody's focused. There's a confidence here in these first 4 weeks or so of camp that guys are ready to win. We believe that we have a good team that's ready to go and compete at the highest level in this game.
Back when you guys first started breaking into the playoffs, you said famously, "I'm sick of putting sunscreen on to play these playoff games." Now, I absolutely loved what you said because, one, it had swag, one, it had confidence, but it also was like, bro, stop putting us at the 11:30 start for a playoff game. Now you're in an environment, and you guys created an environment where you guys played the late games and you guys were the marquee matchup. Now you're in an environment where no matter what you do, if you guys go 0-162 or 162-0 and win the World Series, this is a big pressure cooker. Do you feel the difference from your first 4 weeks just in spring training?
I'd say obviously playing, like you said, playing in the postseason for the first 7-8 years my career. Obviously, once you get to the postseason, there is a great pressure that you feel, and I feel like it'll be that way every game here. And I feel like guys play to the best of their abilities in those situations. I feel like a Tuesday game in April will be packed and rocking. Or yeah, I mean, I feel like the pressure there here is awesome, and I feel like we've been able to feel that for the last 8 years of my career playing in the postseason, which is nice. And I feel like guys rise to the occasion in those situations.
I want to ask you, new team, new digs. Was it a little weird walking in here? Putting on a new. Let's be honest, right?
It was very weird. It's like you get accustomed to doing the same thing for the first 9 seasons, and then it's like, whoa, completely new, complex, new faces. You're trying to learn everybody's name, but players in here, the coaches, the staff, the front office has been great. Been getting to know everybody, and it's been fun. It's been fun.
I know you're a guy that you don't dwell on the past. Have you in any way missed out on watching Jose try to conquer left field?
Oh, of course. I mean, he talk about just an unbelievable teammate, guy who you want to go out there and compete next to every single day. Obviously, I loved every single second of being his teammate. But yeah, it's been fun watching him. I saw him run one down in the gap yesterday. In left field, in spring training, like Pena always used to say that he was faster than Jose, and whenever Jose wanted to, he'd go win the race every time. So I'm excited to watch him track some balls down out there. Just hopefully they're not mine.
Wait, talking about Pena, always talking about speed. We were at camp last week or 2 weeks ago. He said he's going to steal 50 bags. You said, come on, you got to give me honest. You got to be honest. Yes or no? I'm not looking in the middle. Yes or no?
I'll give him yes.
Come on, man.
Hey, with this
That's a lot of bags. You know how tired you get.
Yeah, I'm trying to get 4. I think I had 3 last year. I'm trying to add 1 more to the total.
Hey,
yeah, no doubt.
Go ahead, Kratz. You got one for him. I want to ask you about free agency because, going into it, I went through it. Never been a player you were. Was it what you expected, or I mean, just being real? Because me personally thought you should have got everything you thought you deserved. How was it for you actually?
It was kind of crazy. Honestly, met with a lot of teams, and then honestly, everything just happened in like the last 30 minutes. It was kind of rapid fire. We thought we were going somewhere else the entire time.
Yeah.
And then in like the last 30 minutes, we talked to Boston, and the deal got done. But no, I think it was definitely different than I expected. But it was a good process, and I'm super thankful to be here.
All right, where'd you think you were going? I mean, you said it.
I knew he was going to ask you that. I was going to let him have that.
We thought we were going to be in Detroit the entire time, honestly. And then at the last second, Boston kind of came in.
What? Damn. How much is AJ influence that? Obviously, everybody talks about money and development, chance to win, all that stuff. What is your relationship with AJ Hinch, and how much was that? Were those conversations being had?
No, it's a great relationship. I think he's an amazing manager, great guy. We talk all the time, and we were talking all off season, and obviously they had a really good team last year. They got a really good team again this year, and wanted to be in a position in a place that we felt like we could win. And it kind of was between Houston, Boston, Detroit, and Chicago, and I feel like all 4 of those organizations were winning organizations. I had great conversations with all of them, and ultimately super excited to be here and to be playing in Boston. I can already feel the energy from the city, from the fans here in spring training. It's been awesome. I mean, this place has been sold out. So it's been fun and honestly, yeah, it's been good.
Do you have a thing? Do you have a thing that you do? Vets, some vets buy suits for guys. Some guys, they purchase some for a young guy when they get those contracts or for the team. Is there like an Alex Bregman's on the team? Like, we're gonna get something sick, or like, is there something you do for dudes?
When I was coming up, some of the vets got me suits, so I kind of did the same thing for some of our guys here. But yeah, I feel like you try and take care of some of the younger players and let them know that we're all on the same level here. We're all trying to win baseball games. We're a team. Everyone's pushing towards that same goal, and I feel like throughout my career, guys have done that for me and done that for our clubhouse, and I feel like it creates a really good culture and everybody pulling on the same end of the rope.
Alex, I know you did this in Houston all the time, helping young hitters and helping pitchers as well. And it kind of came naturally, I'm sure, because you were there for a while, right? How do you bring that to Boston when you're new? How does it kind of happen organically, or do guys know about your reputation to be, helpful with things off the field, almost like a coach vibe at times?
Well, I think you just start having conversations with people. You get to know what drives them, what they do well. And you just start there. You just start by having conversations and talking baseball. And I feel like the communication and the baseball talk here has been in a great spot since day one of spring training. And obviously everyone here is focused on us winning, but also putting together great seasons individually and figuring out ways to get better. And I feel like the best way to do that is talking with your teammates, and maybe a teammate sees something that you don't see. And I feel like everyone should be helping one another. And I think it just really starts as simple as just conversations.
All right, take us back to Corpus Christi here when you guys were in Double-A. Here's the video. Like, did you cry for me when this happened?
Well, I didn't know what happened. I thought that was real. I didn't know. I thought you did that on purpose at the time. And then obviously I texted Jake Marisnik after, and he said that it was planned. So,
and it was against my team the year before. We won the World Series, the Royals. That's who we were playing in the opening, or the home opener. Half of them thought it was real, half of them thought it was fake. So it means I sold it.
You got the hat
good.
tip though. That's the key. They acknowledged it.
They were laughing. That was good.
Appreciate it.
Well, Alex, awesome to have you on, man. Congrats on the new contract with the team and all that, and good luck this season. We'll catch you during the year.
Thank you, guys.
MVP
Appreciate
candidate
it.
this year. Let's go, my boy.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
I said it.
There you go.
5 bags.
Appreciate you, Alex.
5 bags.
Be right
5
back,
bags.
FT fam. 5 bags. Uh-oh. New sponsor alert. Let's go, Kratz. This one's fun. You want to treat your dogs to the best of your ability, okay? Let's just put it that way. It's called Spot and Tango. Hear us out. spotandtango.com/Val. Get yourself 50% off your first order. And what do? You don't go out and pick up the dog food anymore. They send it to you, okay? Save on the gas money. Save on the time. It's a personalized food subscription for your pup, and it is top of class on kibble, okay? There are no mystery ingredients. There's no fake stuff. This is the good stuff at a good price when you go to spotandtango.com/Val. If we can show an example while Kratz talks about the quiz that he likes.
There's Penelope just absolutely crushing spread. But there's two types of people that buy dog food. You look at the shelf and you're like, all right, I'll get it. Or you like, oh, I know exactly what my dog needs, allergies, all that stuff, and I buy that. They customize it because your dog may change size, may change activity level, may change, those types of things change, and they cater it. They give you exactly what the dog needs. So do it.
Wow, Penelope, you're a star. And then here's what you need to do. Spot and Tango offering an exclusive deal for the FT fam. For a limited time, go to spotandtango.com/foul. Use code FOUL for 50% off your first order. That's spotandtango.com/foul. Code FOUL for 50% off your first order at spotandtango.com/foul. All right, FT fam, we got about a minute, and then Liam Hendriks will sit down with us. So hot start here from Red Sox camp, and only one camp left after this. So just continuing to update everyone on the schedule in case you've caught this one and say not yesterday's show. There are a lot of camps you can backtrack to. Not every FT episode is evergreen, as they say, but many of the FT episodes over the past few weeks are. So if you missed your team or hearing from someone, aside from Cardinals camp because their players were MIA, then then go check out prior episodes if you want to learn more about that particular team. But we'll finish strong with Braves camp tomorrow, which I'm excited about.
Good one to finish with.
Yeah, it is. It is. What are they? What are they in your mind in the NL East? Second place team?
The Braves? No, I still haven't decided. They could be a first place team. I'm being truthful. Braves,
Okay.
Phillies.
All right, this is always a treat. We've got Liam Hendriks joining us right now from Red Sox camp. Liam, great to see you. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, guys. How about you guys?
Good, good. Are you pumped for the season?
Yeah, I actually get to play this year, so it's exciting. A lot more than the last couple of years, which has been fantastic. And look, I mean, we've got a great team here. We've got a good group of guys. We've got, more importantly, we've got a good group on the field, but more importantly, we've got a really good group in the clubhouse. And so we've got a bunch of guys who've won before, and they got some egos on them, which, in a good sense of the ego word. So we got Bregman, and we got guys like Bueller, we got Chapman, we got Wilson. We've added some dudes, and it's an exciting time.
You basically, you never went to college, and I used to give you a hard time about that because you're a high school mate. You just redshirted. You exactly did what all these kids are doing. You redshirted last year. Are you sick of practicing?
Yeah, less running than redshirting, I hear. But I'm annoyed at it because obviously, like you've been that guy who never gets to play all the time, and so it's it sucks. I mean, yeah. Your job was just catching pens most of the time, and then every now and then getting an at bat. But I still remember the at bat you had off of Roldis in Cincinnati. I think he threw you like 7 straight off speed pitches. The one heater he threw, you hit a double off the wall.
Okay,
Yep,
a blind
yep.
squirrel will find a nut every once in a while.
2014.
No,
but
no.
He's Chapman's
Oh,
nothing.
ownage.
Yeah, he's bunny.
Okay.
He's his rabbit. He's his bunny.
I want to stay on that. You talk about Araldis and, the moves that this team has made. When you look now, you get to go out and play with your friends this year. How excited are you to know that they got to see you two at the end of the game if they want to do anything? And that's a formidable 2 at the back end.
Yeah, I mean, whatever way it works out at the end, it's we've got a really good bullpen. We've got a very old bullpen right now, especially if we got some of the non-roster guys make the team as well. Between Otto, myself, Chapman, Wilson, Matt Moore, Fulmer, we have to be leading the league in 30-year-old bullpen paces. So,
but I want to touch on that real quick. I just sent out a tweet. And I said I don't think that people know how much depth is here. When you look at pitching, you talk about Matt Moore, you talk about Fulm, who's coming back. Can you just touch on how important to have that veteran kind of presence in the locker room is, along with this youthful roster that they have?
Yeah, I mean, we've got some young guys coming up that have got some special arms, but we've got those veteran guys that are going to teach them how to be in the big leagues. And that's one thing that everyone looks to, that youth movement and all this sort of stuff, but you need those old guys in there. You need those guys that have the experiences, the ins and outs of baseball, the trials, the tribulations, to teach these guys, you know what, if you get kicked in the teeth, you're going to be able to bounce back. Don't just fall into a hole and all of a sudden it's a month and a half later and you're still struggling.
Yes.
You'll be able to bounce back, and that's what I think is a huge defining factor. But we've got a bunch of guys, and we're testing that limit right now. We've got a couple or a few starters down right now than we expected to at the start of the offseason. So we're testing that depth right now, and look, this is what we've done. We've acquired some arms. We've got some guys that can throw, and when you look at the guys that have come out and what their stuff has been so far in spring training, it's pretty special.
You think competition in spring training is necessary? Like, how many innings have you thrown? Do you have 5 innings? Like, what are they
Yeah,
seeing in?
5 innings, 2 good ones, and 3 real shitty ones.
So what are they seeing? Like, is it needed for competition? Like, do you need to have competition? Because to me, you kind of set some guys up for injury. It's like, okay, I'm competing. I got to rip it. And maybe I'm not ready to rip it on March 3rd like I should be on April 3rd.
That sounds like their off-season programming wasn't working. I think there needs to be competition. I mean, you're going to come in and you got to win a job. You don't get to come in unless you're an established guy. You don't get to come in and just play it for the thing. You're going to come in and win a job. You got to put your best foot forward. And if you're not ready to do that on March 3rd, then that's on you.
I love that. So having you here, I love the mentality. I think we need to have more veteran guys in clubhouses so we can have that winning mentality. With that winning mentality, I'm curious, is there a sense of urgency here? Because it feels like you talk about the intent when I look at guys are walking around with an intentful look in their eye. Is it because of what they did accomplish or how close they came to, doing something special last year?
Yeah, we had a bunch of guys take a giant leap forward as far as statistics and just having the full year up last year. We had a couple guys take a step back, and we had some guys really have a good first half and tail off in the second half. So there's a lot of guys with some chips on their shoulders about trying to prove that they deserve to be here and they deserve to be in the conversation as part of the best guys in the league. Mix that in with having a guy like Bregman who is just constantly looking at winning. All he cares about is winning. It doesn't matter how it goes about it. Doesn't matter how it gets there. That's all he cares about is winning. And you bring those guys in, all of a sudden it's like you got a little bit more pep in your step. You got a little bit more in the tank. And it's an exciting time. It's but we'll see how it goes. Like obviously there's I wouldn't say urgency, but it's just like the expectation to be better than we were last year and have it. And we also got pissed off. Some of those projections have us last in the East, which
this year.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that.
I mean, I just read that somewhere. Maybe it was a spoof one, whatever it is. But look, at the end of the day, no matter what the projection is, if it doesn't have us winning the AL East, it's not good enough for us.
I love it.
They might have had that at the end of the last season. Y'all made some moves. You got some guys coming back. My thing is, we talk about this all the time, and you're the perfect person to ask. Closers, music, lights, all that show. You're a 3-time All-Star. You are Liam Hendriks, the closer. You're no longer Liam Hendriks, the guy who they threw in the Erik Kratz trade in 2014.
I think it's the Danny Valencia trade. I think it's the Danny Valencia trade.
No. It was the Erik Kratz trade. Let's leave it at that. Do you, if you come in the 8th inning as an established big league closer, should you have the lights and music to help sell the game, not just you, to help get people pumped up?
That's a good question. In my eyes, I like it because it's like fan engagement. As you said, I love fan engagement, whether it be the booing, whether it be the cheering, whether it be anything. But you add that little extra element. But also, it's weird if you do it. It's sometimes weird if you do it in the 8th. Like Chicago, the White Sox, they did it. Not just for the 9th, they did it every now and then in between innings and all these sorts of things. So yeah, it's always been relegated to the 9th inning guy for a little bit, but as you said, with established guys, who knows? At the end of the day, it shouldn't matter what goes on, but in my eyes, it's just like whatever's going to help me get 3 outs, and that's all I care about. Or however many they ask me to, because these days, I mean, starters only go 4, so.
I love asking veteran guys in camp facts. We got to change that too. Matter of fact, is there any way to get back to what it used to be, allowing guys to, take control or read the room? Hey, this guy's cruising. Is there any way we get back to that, or what can we do to change that?
Pay guys for getting over 200 innings. It's like anything else. It's like, oh, you worry about offense. Yeah, you pay guys for getting a single. Pay guys for hitting 300. Pay guys for doing that rather than just the OPS and the 40 plus or anything like that. Yeah, 200 is great and 40 plus.
The game we fell in love with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know how the hardest guy to face is the guy that goes the other way.
Absolutely.
So if you want to put some pressure on some pitches, do it that way. As far as starters go, it's going to be tough because there's not much way you can do too many things without raising the injury profile. And that's one thing you got to really be cognizant of, whether it be, you get to take away the DH, which is just a stupid idea. all those things. So it's yeah, I haven't really thought too much into it, other than just yelling at our starters
Yes.
to just whip it out and let's figure this thing out and go 6 or 7 one time.
I like it.
But look, we got some guys that are some animals, and that they want to go 8, 9, which is like a Tanner Houck guy. He's going to be an innings eater, and that's what he prides himself on.
Yeah.
And you get the pride back in those guys about throwing more innings.
So I wanted to ask you, I love coming to camp, asking the veteran guys, because we've seen a lot. Who's impressed you, whether it's offensively, pitching? Who's the guy that you're going, dude, if we get this guy right, we could do some special things? And it's always going to be more than one, but who's that guy that you're like, dude, this guy, he could be a dude?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a bunch of established guys. I obviously look at the pitches more so than anything. And for me, looking at a guy like Richard Fitz and Quinn Priest coming in, their stuff is like taking exponential leaps forward. I mean, it's incredible. Like, I've played catch with Fitz a couple times in the off season, and it's like a cut ride thing. And then all of a sudden you look up and it said 98 the other day. I'm like, I'm a little bit long in the tooth for this stuff, because 98 was like peak August, July form, not March form in spring training. So, yeah, it's I think those are the kind of guys, because they're going to be the X factor for us, especially when we're testing our starter depth. Is if those guys can come out and do what they need to do, we're going to be just fine, and we can hold the storm, weather the storm until we get our guys back. But those are the two that are going to really hold this thing together if we need them.
I love it.
In your career, who's the hardest guy to play catch with? Because I see guys now, especially towards the end of my career, 17, 18, and that time, it seemed like guys would play catch against each other, not with each other. Who's just ripping balls at each other. You guys aren't the best athletes.
I mean, we the fact that pitchers don't have thumb guards when we play catch with each other is kind of weird. But it's like me when I throw my knuckle puck. Like you caught. Did you ever catch Dickey?
Oh yeah, that's how I got rid of the Blue Jays.
Yeah, so you caught Dickey, and then like I dabble with the knuckle puck every now and then, and I got told I wasn't allowed to throw it to pitchers anymore because I hit one guy in the face and one guy in the chest, and then they banned me from that. We're always trying to compete against each other. The worst guys I face are the ones that randomly cut a ball when they're a sinker guy. So when we've got a guy like Aaron Bummer is like one of the nastiest pitchers you'll ever see in your life. He's like a sidearm lefty that throws firm and does all this, and then he'll just randomly cut a ball, and you're like, luckily all my teeth are fake, and I can just get them replaced.
you definitely have the nice grill.
You would have seen me when I looked like I grew up chewing rocks. So I mean, I had gaps all over the place.
We glowed up. We got the glow up.
But they still look real, and not like some of these people who play on the West Coast team that they got some big old chips.
I won't point no elbows. I already know.
Cheekly. Anyway, so the person or the people who picked you guys to finish last, it was Pacoda. It was the Pacoda picking. So I don't even know if that's a real person. If it's just
I don't know, but
system.
Like AI, you're out. I'm out on them people.
Okay, that's fair.
Because that's how I'm going to get in trouble. They're going to put some AI crap of me saying something stupid, which I probably did say something as similar, and then I get canceled.
Okay, that's okay.
I want to ask you about this. A guy who played at Oakland Coliseum, a lot of people have their opinions about it. I love playing at the places where there was nostalgia, where there was history. How do you feel about having to play possibly in 2 minor league parks this year? Or if you were on those big league teams, does that affect you? I know we go out and play and we got to compete, or is it just like, this is BS and we'll do what we got to do to keep moving forward?
Like at the end of the day, you take it for what it is. There's nothing you can do to change it, so why worry about it?
Yeah.
I'm more pissed that the Coliseum's not around because that's where I kind of established who I was. That's where I went through some very hard times and some very good times. And I'm pissed that place not around because you think about it. I think about it more from all the workers that are there. All the workers that aren't going to be able to get to Sacramento because they're in the Bay Area. All the workers that are now out of jobs because of a political dispute between an ownership and a city, and no one being able to, like everyone being kind of too firm on their stance or not willing to sacrifice something to get something else. And at the end of the day, it's a sad day for Oakland baseball. It's a sad day for Oakland in general. And regardless of where we're going, it sucks that it's not there anymore.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Well, Liam, awesome to have you. Always good to see you. Enjoyed the combo. We'll see you during the season.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you. And
Thank you.
It's the name of your show, Foul Territory. what do you name it? Like, there's no foul territory in Sacramento, is there?
Plenty
The
in
Coliseum was
There's a
for
lot
us.
in Oakland.
Plenty in Oakland.
There's a
Oh,
lot
in
a
Oakland.
lot
I,
of plays
like-
we made.
When I'm on, I don't want the foul territory. I want the punch outs. But when if I'm feeling a little, I need as much foul territory as I can.
We could do foul territory from the Coliseum in the foul ground and not even be anywhere near play. I mean, that's how
Yeah,
Yeah, we
crazy
can
it
do
was.
it mid-game and
Big
still be good to
facts.
go.
Exactly. It will be missed. Liam, good to see you, man. Enjoyed the combo. Thank you.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having us.
All right, we'll be right back. Fam, we're rolling today. Also, by the way, we'll have Ken Rosenthal joining us soon, so stay tuned for that one. We'll do a little inside scoop, but right now, we'll remind everyone that if you're looking for an affordable wireless plan and to ditch what you're working with right now because it's too damn expensive, but you still want all the good perks, Mint Mobile's the spot, okay? Say goodbye to your overpriced wireless plan and the unexpected overages, that whole deal, right? The bill constantly changing. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. And if you're Kratz and you have trouble breaking up with your old carrier, then just say it with your chest and go, it's not you, it's me. I need to save a little more money.
It's not you, it's the price. Sorry.
True,
And it's
true.
It's on the 5G network. Not like this bet, which is the Giancarlo bet. That's a different G. 5G network gets you all the calls. You don't drop anything.
Exactly. So if you like your money, go to mintmobile.com/territory. That's mintmobile.com/territory to shop all plans. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month 5 gigabyte plan required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customer offer for first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. And just a reminder to everyone that we spoke for 25 minutes or so about the Tokyo Series Game 2 this morning. Maybe that's why I look tired. I feel okay right now. Eventually it'll hit. But, we've been doing the 5 a.m. wake-ups. We watched the little 6 a.m. Dodgers take down the Cubs again. We'll talk about it later in the show, in this show too. But just in case you're missing, like a very full dose of medicine on the series, we've got it for you. We did game 1 post game with Max Muncy, which was awesome. He joined us from the dugout. Thank you, technology, people smarter than us, for making it work where everyone can do full-fledged TV shows from their homes and then just casually grab a guy from the dugout right after the game. But then also game 2, Kratz and I ran through Roki Sasaki's debut, which was pretty damn cool. Exactly.
The splitter.
Yes,
The guillotine.
the splitter. Including us trying to come up with a name for it. Because unless I missed anything, I haven't seen a name for a pitch that definitely needs some marketing.
Needs to be thrown for a strike.
The first one was.
Then it'll be filthy.
First one landed in the zone.
It did.
Yep. It's the Inside Scoop with Ken Rosenthal. Let's get right to biz. We did have a little bit of biz last night, Ken, and I know Atlanta Braves fans are actually really excited when they saw your report about Craig Kimbrel returning to the Braves. And I know there's a little bit of a road ahead for him to actually make the squad, but what did you think of the move? And, are we at this point where someone like him, who had a bad finish to the season, needs to sign technically a minor league deal late in his career?
Yes, we're seeing that with a number of players right now. It's not going to be all of them. We still might see some major league deals, but Kimbrel is a really interesting one because this, of course, is full circle for him. Started his career with the Atlanta Braves, willing to go there, go back there, go to the minors for a little bit and see where it goes. And the Braves also signed James McCann to a non-roster invite this week. He's in the same situation. Will go to AAA. And I don't know where Kimbrel is going to be in a month, but it's going to be an interesting thing to track him and see if he can ultimately help that bullpen, which for the Braves is going to be maybe a work in progress to some degree. They've got Iglesias, of course, at the back. I'm kind of intrigued by where they are right now, Scott, especially with Strider pitching so well in his debut for the spring the other day, and Smith-Shawver also looking really good.
Hey, Ken, I want to stay right there. And when you talk about Spencer Strider and how dominant he looked in his debut, how difficult have you heard that it might be for the Braves to not rush that process? When he came out and looked so dominant and so good, where are they with, kind of slowly bringing him along, even though he looks like he's ready now?
Cam, you're right. That was a revelation. They didn't expect that. So clearly they're going to follow a process and they're going to try to do this on a proper course. But at the same time, if the signals he's giving are, I'm ready to go, they can maybe accelerate that a little bit. I don't know exactly how they're going to approach it. It's difficult. And you guys know this as players. When a player feels he's ready to go, he doesn't want to be held back. And at the same time, there is a procedure you follow in recoveries from surgeries, and he's kind of on track with that. So they're not going to be doing anything stupid. And they've got Acuna kind of in a similar situation, of course. I don't know when we can expect to see him full go, but Spencer Strider by early May, I would expect no latest, is going to be a factor for the Braves.
Let's stay in the East and talk about the Marlins' lack of spending. Could there actually, we hear the word grievance that you wrote in your article, could there actually be some kickback from this? Or even better, could there actually be like change throughout the league based on what the Marlins are doing?
Erik, what I wrote about was something Evan Drellick and I wrote about a couple of months ago with regard to the A's. And that is when you're getting revenue sharing, your luxury tax payroll has to end up at the end of the season 1.5 times your amount of revenue sharing received. So this isn't necessarily an urgent situation for the Marlins right now, but they're an estimated $20 million below where they should be. I don't see them adding $20 million during the season. In fact, they're going to trade most likely Sandy Alcantara, and at that point, they'll be even further away from this threshold that is imaginary right now, but it is real by the end of the season. So, yes, could it lead to a grievance? Absolutely it could. And where the grievance ends up, good question. We never seem to hear about the outcomes of these things. Could it lead to change? That's perhaps the bigger question, right? And you've heard a lot of talk about a salary floor, and the owners say, well, we're not going to do a salary floor without a salary cap. Understandable. My contention on that is that they already have a soft cap with the luxury tax system in place. Why not put a similar system with penalties and floating numbers at the bottom of the pay scale if you're not going to do a salary cap? And I don't believe the sport is going to do that, at least not without a major fight. So this never seems to get discussed. Maybe I should write about it, but why not put the same series of mechanisms in place at the bottom that you have at the top? You go below a certain level, you get penalized. You go beyond a certain level or below a level beyond that, you get penalized even more. To me, that seems like a logical way to go if the current system remains intact.
Teams not trying and get fined, and teams that are trying, they get fined? Okay, I like that, Ken. I like it. If you spend a lot of time...
Erik, it's either that or a cap.
There's
going to be something in place, you know?
We got to increase the competitive part of it. That's all that players are looking for. And I think that's all fans are looking for. Competition. Be competitive. It's a monopolistic league. Nobody else. And so when you have that, you have to keep the integrity of the competition.
Totally agree.
When you play in this game, as long as Max Scherzer has, you're going to run into people that cross paths in your life. Can you tell us where Jake Berger and Max Scherzer's paths cross?
Well, they didn't really cross, but Jake Berger's mom's path crossed with Max Scherzer. She was his 6th grade social studies teacher. She also had him for a rotation of English as well. And Max actually told me about this spring, and I was immediately intrigued. And I was like, wow, let's talk about this. And he's like, I don't really want to talk about this. Just say it's cool, but I feel like I'm old. And that was all he said. For Max, that's pretty limited in a comment. So I did pursue it, and I talked to Jake Berger. I talked to Jake Berger's mom. I talked to Dane Dunning, who kind of was Max's teammate and Jake's former teammate with the White Sox. And it was a fun story to do. Shannon Berger, Jake's mom, was kind of excited. Just reminiscing about Max as a 12-year-old. He was a good kid, she said. He was really smart, really athletic. Obviously, he attracted attention even back then with his 2 different color eyes. So just a fun little story to do today, and I hope people read it and enjoy it.
Ken, I know you don't sleep much, and I'm sure your phone has been going crazy watching this Tokyo series. Any word on Roki Sasaki today? I mean, I know he had a little inning where he struggled a little bit. I thought he might have just nibbled a little bit much, but the stuff was there. The stuff was electric. What are you hearing about how excited they are about his debut in Tokyo?
Cam, they're excited, and I can't speak to their reactions necessarily to what happened today, but in general, they see him as a project. They see him as a guy that is not going to be a finished product right away, someone who is going to develop as the season goes on and as his career goes on. Clearly, as you mentioned, the raw stuff is there. The split is pretty incredible. So it's a matter of acclimating him to the major league game, to the American culture, the North American culture, and of course, getting to the point where he can be the kind of pitcher that everyone projects him to be. He showed flashes of that today. There's no question about it. And he's going to be good from every indication, but he's not, again, a finished product, and it's going to take some work to get him to the point where they want him to be. Remember, he's only 23. He hasn't pitched all that much, and there's a full career ahead of him.
When you talk about that project, Ken, today, I was extremely encouraged. Did you get a chance to see his slider today? His slider was an elite pitch as well as the splitty. I know he talked about the fastball splitty, and a lot of people wonder, did he have enough repertoire to, do it at the big league level? But today there was a slider that was, lights out. What have you heard anything on that projection or progress?
Yeah, he's been working on that. And Cam, you guys know this. He's going to need a third pitch. And the slider, if it can be that for him, my goodness, then he becomes a little bit different of a pitcher than he was in Japan, and it makes a huge difference, especially in the major leagues. So, yes, that was something very notable out of his start today, and I expect that that's going to be something he works on developing as the season goes on and his career goes on.
Ken, let's finish with this on the topic of Roki Sasaki. We went over your article from a couple days ago about the recruiting process. It got some pretty good play in a number of spots, including obviously some fans being like, we already know about this. I encourage them to read the article. There's a lot more detail that we didn't know about. I didn't even know about Dentsu, and I'm a business guy. I love learning about business and marketing, so I thought that was fascinating. Can you give us a little insight on basically all of the work that you put together to give us more on this process and how the tone was from executives that you spoke to who lost out on Roki?
There were a number of executives who were very upset, and they were upset because in their mind, the process was predetermined, that Dentsu, this incredibly large marketing company and advertising agency in Japan, most powerful corporation arguably in Japan, played a role here. They are not his contract negotiator. That was Joel Wolf of Wasserman who did that, but they were involved working with Wolf, and a guy named Tomoki Sakai was his direct marketing representative. So it ended up, the process did, the way so many of us expected it to end up, with the Dodgers getting him. But what the teams were saying is that they were led to believe it was going to be an open thing and they'd each get their shot. And the teams generally felt that it was predetermined, that it didn't turn out to be the open process they thought it would be. And that is where their frustration came in. Now, another part of this is that Dentsu, if they're going to take more of an active role with Japanese players going forward, and teams feel this way, they also represent Yamamoto. So if that's the case, teams are going to have to learn to deal with this and figure out just how to go about it. It's an interesting dynamic that was taking place here because the American agent, Joel Wolf, wasn't seemingly the mover and shaker here. It was Dentsu represented by Sakai, and that is what made it so interesting. And for fans who say they knew all of this already, well, God bless them, because I didn't know any of it until I started working on it.
Yeah, I thought it was fascinating. I'm with you. So my follow-up here, twofold. One is I felt like the words from Joel Wolf about what he was looking for made more sense now because he was not necessarily the one that was making decisions or as involved as he was for Yamamoto, who was actually seeking player contract money versus Sasaki kind of surveying the field. To me, your article made it make sense for me that the Blue Jays were involved because Dentsu could have had this double header matchup every night for their media rights with the Blue Jays playing, and then even when Sasaki wasn't pitching, and then the Dodgers at night for Japanese fans to follow. So I guess my question to you is, do you feel like there was any crybabiness to executives being upset? Because technically the rules were followed. Any team could have also been in play for some of these other Japanese players that would have helped the recruiting process. And this is the system that, for the executives, your owners have created. Roki Sasaki comes over here and essentially gets to pick the team that, he wants to be a part of without the money being much of a difference. He's going to join a team that's already got a lot of, the pieces in place for him to thrive both on the field and with marketing deals.
Scott, it's a great point. And there's a line in the article, I can't remember exactly what I wrote, but I basically asked, is this simply a case where they have a legitimate complaint, or is this simply a case of Dodger envy and sour grapes for the most part? And yeah, there is an element to that. And listen, the losers in a free agent process are always, well, not always, but almost always going to be upset if it doesn't go their way. So yes, there's no question that that was part of it. And I quoted an executive from a losing bidder in the article as saying, what is his most logical choice, Sasaki? It's the Dodgers. We all know that. So sure, there's definitely that. Now, Toronto being involved did rankle a lot of people involved in the process because they felt Toronto was not a team with a history of success. This is something Joe Wolf said that they wanted, a team with a history of success and a team known within the game for pitching development. The Jays do a decent job at the major league level of pitching development, which is where Sasaki would have been. But they're not the Dodgers, and they're not some other teams as well. And I know the Dodgers guys get hurt, but generally their reputation in the game is very good for pitching development. So, Scott, sure, there is definitely an element of sour grapes here, and that's what made the article a little bit tricky to do, because for all the conspiracy theories that might be out there and all the things that might be wrong, it was Sasaki's choice, and he did get the right to do whatever he wants. And in the end, he chose a team that a lot of people figured he would choose in the first place.
Yeah, and I give credit to the Blue Jays, by the way. I know they've taken a lot of flack over the years for going after certain players, but at least they are going after them, even if they should be offering higher bids to certain players to actually win the player over. In this case, I'm thinking, what did you want them to do? Just give in? I mean, should every executive
Absolutely.
just say, let's not even try? You just don't know. I mean, I felt the same way. Most of us felt he was going to be a Dodger, but you got to try.
Right. The beef the executives had was that they were a finalist. No one expected them to be a finalist, and that's, of course, how they ended up in the process right at the end with the Padres and the Dodgers. Now, the one other thing here, if you remember, Joe Wolf at the winter meeting said, and kind of raised curiosity throughout the game when he said, hey, Sasaki might prefer a lower media market, a smaller media market. It might just be more to his personality. If that was the case, then the Padres made a whole lot of sense, even with their ownership turmoil. And of course, he didn't choose the Padres. He chose the Dodgers.
Yeah. And hey, Joel's been a great agent for a long time. He reps many players. He did the Yamamoto deal, but that line in the story about him not being able to talk much in meetings really said a lot and told me to not buy into all his comments, maybe just because he didn't know what was going on. And that's okay.
The argument was by those executives that Joe Wolf did not control the process, and they thought perhaps that he would.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's an awesome article.
That's what they hope. They hope to control the process.
Right.
They didn't want that's what they wanted. So, boo-hoo.
Hey, there's no rules on who's allowed to help in the process, in the decision-making process. It's not like, it has to be his player rep. I mean, this is
absolutely right.
From another country. So I thought it was cool. I loved learning more about the process. Ken, thank you. Appreciate it. And we'll talk to you later this week.
Thanks, guys.
And Fair Territory, of course, from Monday is great, and obviously encourage you to check it out. Almost everything in there obviously is still covering topics that are super relevant. And then Thursday, you'll get Alana and Ken, and they can give you more on the Tokyo series and all of the fanfare that came out of that series. That was really fun to follow, especially if you had your early morning coffee and check that out. All right, FT fam, we'll be right back. All right, let's continue on Kimbrel for a moment, and we'll get to Patrick Corbin later on in the show. Those were the two vets that were signed in the past 24 hours. Thoughts on this one? Feel good story. And Kimbrel was pretty good for a while with the Orioles and then kind of fell off, especially late in the year, and ended up with a 5.5-ish ERA. When you're at this stage in your career and you're coming off a bad finish, that's what's going to happen. It's a $2 million contract if he makes the major league team and when, which I'm assuming, would take a little bit of time since he's joining camp with a week to go. So it'll be prorated, whatever. He's made plenty of money in his career. I think it would be cool for his last season to be in Atlanta.
I love that. Can Atlanta unlock what I don't think some of the other teams have been able to unlock? Phillies, most recently the Orioles, where he has good stretches. Can they sit him down? Can they not use him during those stretches where he's not going well? I don't know. I haven't watched enough games recently of Kimbrel to see what's going on. I know he has trouble holding runners, whatever, throwing strikes, but I love that it's going back to the Braves. I love that, a kid from the South is going to go play in Gwinnett and be one of the first ones called up, because there's really not that much. It doesn't really hurt the Braves that much. They're going to make him sign the whole 45-day consent thing. So the $2 million wouldn't even be guaranteed when he gets called up. He'd have to stay for 45 days. And for Kimbrel, recently he started out well, so he could really earn that spot in the 45 days when he's in the big leagues. But I just think it's super awesome. I think he should play however many years he plays, whether it's just this year, just May, or 3 more years. It should all be in Atlanta.
Hey, I mean, if he joins the team in, say, late April and then he's feeling it at some point in August, there's a phantom IL. You can use that. No big deal.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Bruce Bochy said they're going to do it with Kimbrel, so why can't teams just do it with the bullpen? I mean, I'm sorry, not with Kimbrel, with DeGrom. Why can't they do it with the bullpen? Oh, wait, because it's called roster manipulation. But who cares?
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. All right, back in about 30 seconds, and we'll get ready for Alex Cora, Red Sox skipper, to join us for the first time on FT. He'll be making his debut.
That's my playlist. I made that last year.
Manny, did you put the Morgan?
Here we go. We're back with Red Sox manager Alex Cora, and of course, my fellow University of Miami alum. But
Oof.
Alex, great to see you, man. Yeah, exactly. But great to see you. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oof, I don't know about that, Erik. Not right now. We're not that good right now.
No.
Oh, okay. So just hold it down.
Right, it's like, yeah.
I got some dudes
We'll
coming,
talk about
though. Hey,
the good team
I got
here.
some guys going
Yeah.
to Miami. They're going to be out here
Yeah.
soon. A couple of years, they're going to be back.
Stop.
We needed
man.
to play defense
Stop.
at the end of the season last year. Man,
Mm.
what a
They'll
waste,
pick it
what a
up.
waste
All
of talent, right? What a waste of talent.
I'm with you. We'll focus on the good stuff then. How you liking this camp where you've got the young talent, you've got the offseason moves bolstering the roster? It's going to cause what we like to call good problems, right? Where you got to figure out how to play everyone.
Yeah, I mean, so far so good. I think we talked about it towards the end of the season last year. As an organization, we needed to execute in the offseason, and they did. The front office did an amazing job. Crochet, Walker, Chapman, Wilson, we're healthy too. Whitlock is back, Slayton is back, and then on the other side of the ball, bringing Alex, it means a lot to the team. We talk about leadership, we talk about ball players, right? We talk about Boston, and bro, like, it's amazing. I knew the kid, in 2017. Just watching from afar, I think he did an amazing job. Put everything behind, right? The mistake we made, and we all pay the price. But it seems like he took it kind of like, okay, guys, we're gonna show the world that we can do it. We can do it. He put everything in the past, and that's the type of leader you need. And he's been amazing for us.
I stand on this, and I'm glad you talked about it. when I talk about leaders of men, your name is always first to come up.
Thank
I always say Alex, AJ, Carlos, some of the most brilliant baseball minds I've been around. So you talk about adding a leader like Alex. You talk about Chapman. You guys have a ton of young talent, right? And ability. How has that been the pairing, right? Because you need both. You need a little bit of youth with a little bit of veteran leadership. Now, how much more comfortable you feel when you put those together? And is there a sense of urgency going into this year? Because it seems like a lot of focus when I'm watching guys walk around, a lot of intent.
Yeah. In the first meeting, as you guys know, the managers always, it's World Series or bust, like it's rah, rah, rah. This one was more like, hey, we have to be precise. We have to be on point. We have to be correct, and the margins of the game, right? Like everybody's going to pitch, everybody's going to play defense, everybody's going to hit, but the little things, you have to catch the baseball. You have to run the bases well. You have to guys move over late in games. You got to throw strikes. What happens when you throw strikes, right? So it's been on point. I love teams, and you guys know how it is, chemistry and all that, but it's cool when they stay in the clubhouse and they talk baseball. And then it's been a point of emphasis from the veterans. And then the young guys, man, it's a mix of super talent and old school baseball. We talk about the three guys, Campbell, Anthony, and Marcelo. Took them out to dinner early, and we were talking, and they were like, hey, Barry Bonds, talk to me about him, Robbie Alomar, what was that all about?
Yeah.
And I was like, what? You really want to talk about those guys? Like it was refreshing for me. And I never seen a group so young that everybody gravitates towards them. Usually they follow the veterans. It's the other way around, Obviously, they probably have a few stories, right? Yeah. They're young, and but it's been refreshing to talk baseball again, to concentrate on the things that are gonna make us better, and the goal here is to play meaningful games in September and see what happens.
Yeah, and I got two. I want to stay there because I got two for you. One, because a lot of guys have been Marcelo. You got a lot of these big prospects, but I've talked to a few guys who come through here and they continue to say, Campbell, man, it's something about him. It's something
physical.
different.
He's physical.
I even heard somebody say a little Hunter Pence-ish. It's like maybe a little quirky, but the pop, this hand speed, the actions are all there.
Yeah.
Who's the most ready of those three? I know they still got some time.
Oof.
I'm asking, like, is there a guy or is there a guy that you like, he's close? I know it's hard in spring training.
They're
right?
all close.
Yeah.
They all close. They all close. They are in a different way. You see Marcelo, and he's been the one that people kind of forget about it, right? Because he's been hurt. But you see him play. He loves playing defense, which I love, like he talks playing defense, and then the swing is smooth, he can drive the ball to left center. He's a great base runner. Yesterday in New York, third ball, got to second, third ball, got to third, sac fly, we score, so I
know you love that.
Throwback, I love it. And then Campbell, it's just physical.
Yeah.
He's 23. And I had Sander here from 18 till 21, 22, right? 22. And Sander is physical.
Yeah.
He's a strong kid. And this guy, he's as physical as Sander Bogarts.
Yeah.
The swing, 100 pins, whatever it's different. It's different. But he drives the ball. He's a good athlete. He can play in the outfield. He can play second. And then Roman, that's, he's 28, but he acts like, the way he acts, it's like a 30-year-old man. The conversations, yes, sir, no, sir, thank you, you're welcome, very polite. The other day, he hit a homer in Jupiter, 114 off the bat, right? And everybody was like, wow. Later in the game, infield back, we were up by 6, minute third, less than 2 outs, pitch down in zone, and hit a ground ball.
Boom.
Goes to the dugout. He's like, I'll do that all day. All day. I was like, oh.
Gets
yes,
it.
sir.
Yeah, he gets
That's
it.
what we need. Like probably another kid was going to try to impress me. Let me hit another one, 114. He's like, no, he's down in zone. I hit a ground ball, get my stake. So they're very mature. They want to win. They've been following the right guys too. The first day Alex was in the clubhouse for lunch in the caf. They spent 1 hour together just talking. And they've been great so far. And I cannot guarantee you when. I cannot guarantee you who will be first, but I can actually tell you that they're going to contribute. They're going to help us win ball games.
That's big.
All right, you can't tell who you're going to call up first, but who sent the first text when you signed Alex Bregman? Because I know there was a bunch of texts flying around, and Breggy just was on here and said his other choice, he really thought he was going to Detroit. So did you send a text to AJ Hinch, or did AJ send you a hawk text, you coming in hawking it, just taking that man?
I didn't take that man, bro. Actually, so that Wednesday, a lot of things changed. It happened very fast. I was having dinner with some of the players, and I was getting calls from ownership and from the front office. I got home at 9, went to bed at 9:30, and at 10:20 something, my daughter Camila, she just turned 22. She graduates from BC in May. She drops the "Let's freaking go," and I swear to God, I was like, I hope this text is for me. You know? And when I look, I have 10 missed calls. Breslow, Mr. Henry, Sam Kennedy, Alex Bregman, John Henry, Breslow again. I was like, oh, wait a minute. And I look, and he calls me right away. Alex does. And he's like, I signed with the freaking Red Sox. I'm like, what? Because I gave up, you know, and he's like, yeah, I signed with the freaking Red Sox, and he showed me Knox with the hat of the Red Sox. Then he tells me that Reagan is going to go to Harvard. I'm like, man, you guys played this well. You guys did a good job, but happy for the organization. I know the kid. I know the player. You know, like I told Bress the other day, I said, man, you know, 3 years, right? He's like, oof, man, like this guy has changed his, you know, like very happy. The other Cora was a little bit upset.
Yeah,
Joey Cora was a little bit
we
upset.
heard in Tigers camp. We already got the scoop.
Yeah,
They were a little tight about that.
He's a good player. He's a good player, and they're in a good place. They have a good team. We're playing them today. What they did last year was amazing. They probably have the best pitcher in baseball, and they will pitch. So, you know, yeah, of course, everybody was behind trying to get Alex. You know, it just happened that we were lucky. You know, I think him and Scott did an amazing job throughout the off season, but I truly believe he wanted to come here. Yeah. You know, it's just, I don't know, man. There's something about that kid, that Fenway Park and our fan base, the way they go, right?
Absolutely.
It seems like perfect, right?
Absolutely. He gets pushed behind that type of atmosphere. I think that
he fakes it, bro.
Yeah.
He makes whatever.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, the number 2 because he was the second pick. Use that, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even today, you know, like, I want to play against Tigers. You know, like, bro, chill, man, chill. You're gonna be okay.
He's like a pit bull. He's always just looking. He's just going around looking like he wants to bite somebody. Like he's just like, we don't have to bite anybody. Did you when you went out to eat with the players that night? Did you tell them the cause, like, hey guys, there might be something cooking, or did you keep it all to yourself?
No. They knew. There were 2 big rumors out there, right? You know, one of them was a trade, right? And, you know, the other one was Alex. And I think everybody in camp knew about the situation. But, you know, at one point, I remember, you know, like I was like, nah, you know, like, you know how I knew they were behind him? So Joey tells me everything. My brother tells me everything, you know? And oh no, Bregman is going to be too much, too many years, this and that. And then for 2 weeks, he didn't mention Alex at all. And like, this frigging guy thinks that I don't know him, you know, like there's something going on here. So I stay quiet too. I was like, okay, cool. We're going to play that game. I'll stay quiet. I stay quiet.
Okay. Did you have a cigar with Mr. Henry or no? Because you saw the famous picture.
No, but that was show. That was show, man. Like
that was big league, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how people portrayed FSG, Fenway Sports Group. You know, they're successful, man. They're really good. You know, we have won 4 in the last 20 years. You know, overseas, Although last week was a little bit tough, with the Champions League and the Carabao Cup, but it seems like they're gonna win the Premier League. Liverpool. By the way, you guys should go over there. That's Anfield is amazing, amazing. I went there in November. Got to see Manchester City against the Reds and Real Madrid on a Champions League Wednesday. Bro, amazing show. But he's successful, man. And when I saw the picture, I was like, yeah, do it. Like, hell yeah. This guy, he cares about the Red Sox. They love Fenway. They love the area. And they promise we're going to be aggressive. And I think they came through.
This may be something you may or may not know because we're getting towards the end of spring. When I look at this team, I talk about being able to tilt the field. You've got everything. You've got guys with pop. You've got guys with speed. What's this team's identity? Or is it like we said, getting that old school mentality, doing what you need to do to manufacture a run, right? You take the homers when you get them, but like, is it too early to say what the identity is right now?
It is too early. We still have to pitch and play good defense.
Right.
We have to do that. I think you got the three areas that we talk about in the game. If you don't play defense, you don't pitch, you're going to be in trouble. So we have to do that. I think the defense is going to be okay. But since Rafi came back last week or this past weekend, Duran, Rafi, Alex, Casas, it feels like we're going to score right away, or we're going to put pressure on the pitcher right away. And 4 different at-bats. Actually, no. Bregman and Casas, they're very similar. They don't chase. We're going to let the big boy do his thing.
Yeah.
Go hit 40, bro.
Yeah.
Go hit 40. And then Jaron, he's going to do the things.
Sets the tone,
it's amazing.
doesn't
It's amazing.
The way he plays the game.
Yeah,
I watched the other day, he had a pop-up, and he was on second base. Like,
Yeah,
as a
you
manager,
you actually tried, like, slow down.
Right.
No, I can't do it.
but as a manager, when he sets that tone, like, how much easier is it for you to go, hey, if he's doing it.
He's doing it, everybody has to do it.
Yeah.
And he last year was amazing, impacting the baseball, playing every day, playing great defense. He went from a below average defender to one of the best in the big leagues, and that means a lot, And he's another guy like Alex, looking for whatever,
Edge, whatever.
Yeah,
edge,
yeah. A butterfly goes by. Oh, okay, I'll show you. like come on,
Green,
bro.
blue, and red.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The sun is out. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think, honestly, if I have to pick something that we're gonna do, I do believe we're gonna score early.
Yeah.
We will score early.
It's huge too.
Oh,
Huge.
amazing.
You're communicative better than most managers out there because your ability to reach different players. You had different aspects of your career. You're bilingual. So much has been talked about the conversation or lack of conversations with Rafi. Can you give us insight as players what those conversations that you actually had leading up to these signings and in spring training with him?
Yeah, I mean, you just gotta be honest. I know people are criticizing the timing, but I mean, you gotta be very careful too with what you say, because then if it doesn't happen, how people are gonna take it, right? And talking to him, I got here February 5th because he was here 3 weeks early, and there was a reason I came here, and it was to see the kids and obviously be around him. And I was very honest, there's a lot of things going on. This might happen, but then obviously the conversations about the position, all that stuff, it has happened throughout camp. And, that bench over there, Cam, that's real, man. That bench over there, they're going to put the mic on in front of you. And like I always said, you be as transparent as you want, and he was very honest this year. He was very honest last year. Right, like he said that us as an organization, we have to do better. Right, like we have to go get the big boys, and they came true. And the whole situation about the third base DH, we'll take care of that. He's playing, he's smiling, which is the most important thing. And as you guys know, and we played, our jobs is to play. Our job, is not to agree with everything that goes either. Like there's certain things that you're not going to agree, but you know what? We're going to show up the next day. We have to play. And he's doing that. He's put himself in a great position. He hit a missile the other day off the wall, and he'll do the job, And I think he really likes what we did as an organization to add talent to that clubhouse. And like I always said, man, it's like families, right? Like you don't always agree with the wife, but you know what? At the end, we stay together. We'll do it together, and the Red Sox are in a good place, and I know people have their opinions, and for X or Y reason, they like what we did, they don't like what we're doing, but it is what it is, man. We got to show up the next day and keep working.
Yeah, sometimes you, sometimes me, but always us, right?
Yeah. That's 100%, 100%.
That's great. Alex, thank you for the insight. Awesome to see you. We're looking forward to having you on here for the first time. Enjoy the last week here, and then we'll see you for the real games, all right?
You guys ain't coming to Mexico with us?
Hey, quality control coaches, you need me.
I wish. Cam, you figure out a way to get on some of these trips. I know you
can
do it.
Quality control coach. He knows I'm good vibes. He knows.
There it is. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, guys.
FT, we'll be right back. I would love to go to Mexico to follow that little exhibition series. Yeah, sure. FT 100%. From Mexico. No doubt. But,
I want to go down there more than I want to watch that stupid documentary of them finishing 500 last year.
Stop it. That is true. This was the year to follow up in my mind because you have the youngsters too. You got Bregman, who's always a great soundbite. So I don't know if they're doing a sequel. I haven't heard anything. Yeah.
Big miss.
Agreed. Patrick Corbin, we'll do it now for 2 minutes. Signs with the Rangers, major league contract, $1 million, a little over that, guaranteed, according to John Heyman. And then he said plus a few million in incentives. It's actually funny. 1 million plus a few million in incentives. Heyman's usually like precise, like so-and-so got 1.625 mil, whatever. But I like this version of John, who's just like, yeah, whatever. He's got a few mil in incentives. He's got about $1 million in a major league contract. And Rangers fans are like, is one of the youngsters getting kicked out of the rotation to start the year? Is Jack Leiter and Kumar Rocker going to make the rotation, or is someone else going to get bumped? I saw a little bit of that circulating, but I'm also like, it's March 19th. Patrick Corbin, unless I'm completely unaware of how things are going, is not going to start the year in the rotation. So I think they'll be okay, but you got to have depth. I mean, they've got DeGrom in that rotation. They've already got 2 injuries with Bradford down and with John Gray down right now. Cam, what do you think?
I'm all
I like this move. Oh, my bad. Yeah, you know what, EK? My whole thing is I'm just happy to see a veteran guy who can go get out to get a big league deal, right? Even though it's $1 million, we see so many of these minor league deals, these minor league invites. Let's be honest. You can say what you want about Patrick Corbin. You can say he isn't the guy that he used to be. But at the end of the day, he's still a big league arm, right? He's still going to help somebody's rotation get big outs. So I'm just happy to see the veteran guys get what they deserve and not these whole minor league invites. I'm happy for the guy. Well deserved.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is, and we don't have a lot of time and break here, but listen to this. 32 injured, 32, 33, 33, COVID season, 31, 32, 32. He stays healthy. He gives you starts. That's what you need to make it through a season. Every team needs starts. This man will do it for you.
Love it.
Hey, not going to beat around the bush either. The ERAs were not always pretty. This is not a guy you're signing to win you a playoff game. This is a guy you're signing to get you through the marathon when your rotation could be thin. Yeah, let's charge the damn mound. Now, if you want a full recap of the Tokyo series, we did post-game shows after game 1 with Muncy joining us from the dugout. And then game 2, we were on for about 20-25 minutes. But let's spend a few right now. And Cam wasn't on in the morning because he was hustling around Red Sox camp. But Cam, the dream stays alive for Dodger fans. They're like, will we ever lose a game? They're 2-0.
Yeah, it was impressive. I think what I was the most impressed with, we talked to Ken about it earlier, was this whole thing about, can Roki Sasaki develop a third pitch? Can he develop another pitch? Because he's essentially a 2-pitch guy. Well, today we were coming in and watching the game. he threw some wicked sliders that showed me immediately he's working on his stuff. And also, too, there was an inning, I don't know if it was the third, fourth, or fifth, where he lost it. I think he had a few walks, but it was just as simple as just trying to be too fine. Once his feet get settled under him and he realized that that stuff plays in the zone, that dude is going to be lights out. Then you saw Kirby Yates. Just so many weapons, so many ways to beat you. And I heard you talking about him this morning, Scotty. Tommy Tanks, right? He has picked up right where he left off. Again, no Mookie, no Freddie, no problem. The Dodgers are so deep, such quality at-bats, and the pitching rotation is insane. So Dodgers fans have a lot to be excited about right now.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. We talked about the pitch, the knuckle, the guillotine, whatever you want to call it, is splitter. Something that Japanese pitchers do really well, and he's no different. Yes, he's 23 years old. I get that. Is they learn how to manipulate that pitch. To me, what he's going to learn with so much movement is how to manipulate it the way that is best for the situation. He's facing a righty. He doesn't want that thing dipping down and into a righty. It's going to be giving him the best chance. Maybe the guy pulls off the ball. He's able to manipulate that finger, maybe not split it quite as much on the fork and make it more of like a splitter that's going to dive and drop away. He's going to learn because his mechanics are so repeatable, and he hasn't really thrown that many innings. As far as, yes, he's a 23-year-old, and yes, he's been, I think, in professional baseball for 5 seasons now over in Japan. He hasn't thrown that many innings, so he needs those reps, and it'll only improve. Is it going to happen this year? I don't know. 5 walks, quite a few walks.
Yeah, he'll settle in. And his stuff's so damn good. They'll be like, yo, let's locate in the zone. Your stuff will play in the zone. Just focus on that heater and land some splitters and then get them to chase the rest. And like Cam said, if you got the slider, this guy's got Cy Young stuff. There's no doubt. That team's ridiculous. We'll talk plenty about him throughout the season. But I do want to bring the Cubs side up here. We spoke about the Cubs for about half the post-game show today. Just like, hey, how good do we think they are? But I actually want to lock in on a very specific part of today's game, the end of the game, the last out off the bat of Matt Shaw, ground ball out. Jesse Rogers does an awesome job covering the Cubs for a long time now, and he brought up this tweet, and there's fire on socials right now, Cam, about it. Some people are obviously coming after him, and Jesse, I thought, brought up a really good point in terms of the roster construction. He said, small thing, but good time to wonder why a rookie is hitting ahead of a $177 million player who has 25 home run seasons on his resume. Managers, execs often wave off batting order questions. Quote, put your best hitters up top, they say. It's simple. You do that for this exact scenario so they get the extra at bat late, not here. Point being, there were 2 on. This team's down 3 runs. Justin Turner came in, he pinch hit, he walked, right? And then next up is Matt Shaw. And Jesse Rogers just bringing up a very interesting point. He's not saying this is what they had to do, but he's like, anyone else think that maybe Dansby Swanson should be ahead of Matt Shaw in the batting order? A guy who is just making his debut, and he had a late start to camp, right? Because he had a little injury, and I don't know. I mean, don't you want to bury him in the lineup a little bit and let him get cozy?
100%, and especially right now, again, I know it's early. It's a small sample size. AAA is different. Not saying that he can't make it at the big league level, but like Javi Baez, when he first came up, a lot of movement, a lot going on. And he doesn't have as much going on as Javi, but that big leg kick and the high velocity and these guys' ability to be consistent and hit certain spots and find those holes, I think it's a fair question, right? You want your veteran guys in that situation late in the game. That's why you stack the lineup like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. You want those guys to get those at-bats late in games, clutch situations. So I'm sure Cubs fans might be the ones who didn't like that tweet, but it's an extremely fair question. Listen, I'm not trying to compare my 7TU team to the Cubs, but when I make that lineup, I make it so at the end of the game, my best guys will be hitting. So I'm in on this one.
It is definitely a team sport played by individuals, and you want your best individuals up there. Soccer, if you have a penalty shot to win the game, rarely are you going with the rookie up there. They get an opportunity to set that. In baseball, you set that lineup before the game. You want those vets in there. Push Shaw maybe down. I don't disagree with Jesse, but it also is it's a caveat of what you have with the Cubs. You're choosing
Yes.
Dansby Swanson over Matt Shaw to protect, like maybe they were a little thin. We just talked to Breggy. Maybe they were a little thin. Should have gone after him a little harder.
Not
Yeah,
maybe. They were definitely thin, 100%.
Yeah.
This is a move that made two. Not to get into that, Kratzy, but you're
Yep,
right.
yep.
That move made so much sense. And you look at the payroll. You look at Chicago, Wrigley in the summertime. That type of atmosphere, that type of player, and I love Justin Turner. I love him. And you still could have had him. You could have used him as a guy to pick up some at-bats against lefties at first base, DH, whatever you need. But there's no doubt in my mind that, today, the last 2 days were days where they definitely could have used that veteran presence in the lineup.
Yep. Now they'll head back home and obviously play the rest of the season in the States, and you got plenty of time to go. But you just like to point those things out because it's a bummer to, get yourself all ready a week earlier than everyone else. You go out, it's a great trip. And they're running into a buzzsaw. I mean, the Dodgers are playing basically a Super Bowl-like atmosphere, and it's a home game for them, international home game, let's call it. But still, I mean, the Cubs lost. It's not as strong of a roster as the Dodgers. I don't think anyone would say that. So we'll see what happens. All right, stepping back with Coby Mayo's comments in a moment about how the Orioles optioned him and he's spending a lot of time in AAA. Very interesting, and I can see both sides here. We'll get to it. The real question is, have we lost our touch? BetMGM locks empty today. Empty. First 5 innings under 4.5 runs. Cam's SGP with the Dodgers winning but holding that under. And the Cubs didn't win for Kratz. So wipe it, but we won't. We'll wipe it by winning some bets when the season starts for everyone else, guys.
Can't do it. Can't do it. It hurts. It hurts. I can't even wait. Like, I need to have another game. Like, let me get an over under on Giancarlo Stanton's homers or something. Like, let me get something today to just rehash it.
I watched a lot of college basketball. I could help him out there, Cam.
Yeah, hey, some good game. Hey, shout out Carolina. They looked like they belonged last night. Say what you want. They had a chip on their shoulder. I don't want to get them. This is foul territory, but shout out.
No, but I'm with you there. I mean, there's
some corruptness.
Yeah, exactly. There. I can see both sides. My only thing is, let's not waste too much time talking about which 11 seed should be in. Both those teams could have been better teams, and neither of those teams are winning the NCAA championship. I get it. You want to get all the best teams in there. This ain't a tournament of 4, 8, 16. It's a massive freaking tournament. It's fun for people to grab. Anyway, on that front, you can get ready for tip-off with March matchup odds boost tokens. Use your token to score a bigger payout if your March matchups bet wins. And if you have any tips, maybe you can send them Kratz's way, because I don't know how much college hoops he's watching, but it was a really fun season. A lot of talent in NCAA basketball this year. There's some good contracts that were handed out to guys that are getting well paid, and they're earning their keep. I'm telling you. I mean, I watched more this year than I had in probably 10 years to help my dad recover, and it's good times. Anyway, gambling problem or concern, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Coming back with a little That's What He Said to talk about Coby Mayo's comments on being optioned.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said. Coby Mayo is a great hitting prospect with the Baltimore Orioles who wants to get some PT in the major leagues. 17 games last year. And, he didn't put much together in the big leagues, but he's looking for some more consistent playing time instead. He didn't hit great in spring training. He gets sent down, and he had some comments. So let's read through them real quick. He said, it definitely is difficult. It obviously sucks because you feel like you've proven everything you've needed to. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it's quite enough. Obviously, you go back there, and if you have success, he's talking about AAA, it's, he's supposed to have success because he's already proven it. And if he doesn't have success, it's, obviously he's fallen off. It's kind of a lose-lose, talking about going to AAA. And then Orioles skipper Brandon Hyde used Mayo's criticism to praise the remaining roster. So he said that's what happens when you have good teams. Good teams option players that they like. And he said more reps at AAA. We feel like that's what he needs right now. Guys, he's played a lot of ball in AAA. We'll go to our AAA specialist first here, Kratz. He's not coming off a great spring, but yeah, I mean, you got a little more minor league dirt in your cleats than Cam. But we've talked about the log jam for the Orioles. I've been bringing this up for a year. And sometimes when we bring things up, it's not just random. Sometimes we actually hear things from a team executive or a player on the team about how there is frustration when the logjam gets so loaded up. And you can say, oh, boo-hoo, just play better, hit better. But what do you think about this, Kratz? A guy that's crushed it in AAA and is starting to get frustrated. And I think he's 25 now, starting to get to that age where you're like, 23. All right, what do we got? Oh, he's 23? Okay.
Still, when you put up the numbers that you do at 22 years old in AAA, yeah, you expect to get an opportunity. The difference is where. Where and what did you do? Like, it's a small sample size. Sorry, that's what you got. Famous Pete Orr story. Everybody gets a chance. Not everybody's chance is the exact same size. Like, some people get 3 at-bats to prove it. You go 1 for 3, you're going to get another 3 to 10 at-bats. Coby Mayo has every right to be pissed off. If you get sent down from big league camp and you had 25 pumps in the bushes the year before, you should be pissed off. The difference is, don't talk to the media the first 3 days. Give yourself 3 days to get down to camp and cool off, and then go and be an absolute menace. Don't hit 280. Don't hit 290. Hit 320. Don't make 16 errors in the minor leagues. Yes, that's an improvement on what you did the year before, but go out and push it. Prove to them so that when you're up there, I told you I should have been up here. And then remember this. Remember this when it's time to sign an extension. Go to arbitration. Play with that fight and fire, and don't play with a chip on your shoulder in the minor leagues, because what'll happen? Oh, see, we were right. He kind of fell off. He hit 250 in April. Go down there and be an absolute beast as soon as you get down there, including these games in minor league camp.
Listen, at the end of the day, the name of the game is taking advantage of your opportunities. Right? This isn't daddy ball. This isn't, you played so well in AAA, so you deserve a spot here. At the end of the day, the Orioles have done a great job of stacking their organization with prospects, right? That's depth. Now it's up to you to take advantage of the situation. At the end of the day, you can call it a small sample size if you want to, but there was a point last year where he was getting run out there every day, whether it was 17 at bat, whatever it was, he got opportunity. You got to make good on your opportunity. Came in the spring. I've been there. I told, our producer, Mark, I was the worst spring training player. I hated signing minor league deals for spring training because I wanted to use it to get ready. But guess what? You're in a situation where you needed to come in and impress, and you didn't. So, it's one of those things where I think you got to look in the mirror, and then you got to check yourself. Hey, you said what you said. It's out there now. But now you got to put your big boy pants on, go down to AAA like Kratz said, and show that I am an absolute menace and I belong in the big leagues. If anything, you go down there, you force their hand, and now you're a trade piece, and maybe you get an opportunity to go somewhere else. But complaining about it when you really didn't take advantage of the opportunity, it doesn't sit well with me.
And what if he crushes it in the minors for the first couple months, but they don't have a spot?
If I was the Orioles, get them on out of here. Go get me some more pitching. You don't want to be here. They got plenty of prospects. I don't want listen right now, and I'm not saying he is this guy, but complaining when you didn't tear it up, when you didn't really give yourself a chance. Like I was, under the impression, or I came up in the era of make it a tough decision. it wasn't a tough decision because you didn't go and be the guy that you were in AAA. So for me, the last thing I want is guys up here complaining, whining about not playing every day and getting opportunities. As a young guy, that's the role that you're in. You have to take advantage of those limited opportunities, like Kratz said. And if you don't, it's only one person to look at, and that's the person in the mirror.
In organizations that are good, players in the minor leagues sit there and they go, oh, if I was in this organization, it would be different. Maybe. But nobody that ever said that in the minor leagues ended up sticking with another organization. You get called up to the big league, sure. But you don't want to just get called up. You want to stick. We're talking about this because Coby made these comments. Maybe he wants to back off these comments at some point, but there is some blame in the organization. You can't have this type of dissension. You can't have the other organizational prospect, Basallo, the catcher, coming down to minor league camp when big league spring ends and hanging out with a guy who could be toxic. The org has to be able to get value out of guys when the value is there. They did it with Norby. Now, maybe there's a chance to get this value. You can't keep hoarding these guys. It's not fair to them, but it's also not fair to the overall growth of your organization.
There you go. And yeah, I mean, I've been pretty pointed on what I think the O should do. I would like another starter, whether it's a vet for a year or a younger guy where you trade a hitting prospect for a younger pitching prospect and see what happens. That's happened before too. I mean, you had the famous, Zach Gallen, Jazz Chisholm trade back in the day. For me, the Orioles have excelled for the most part with developing hitting prospects now. Pitching prospects, okay. But hitting prospects, I mean, they've crushed it over the last several years. So you just want to take advantage of that winning window opportunity. And hopefully Coby Mayo is a part of that for them this year. But otherwise, you really need to use your assets to keep staying aggressive in the market. So we'll see what happens.
And that's why you load up on those guys, Scott. That's why you go out and you build a farm system that is loaded so you can make those moves, right? If we're not doing it in the pitching aspects, well, we got two guys that we can go make a move for and go get one or two big prospects back. So I think, the Orioles, when we talk about the org being somewhat to blame, like Kratz said, I think they're in a situation where, listen, they're just holding on to prospects. They got a good team up there. Now go take some of those pieces, unless they're generational, unless they're Aaron Judge, unless they're Ohtani. Sometimes you got to move that because prospects, when I came up, it meant you just hadn't done anything yet. So, hey, for me, like you said, use those chips while you have them.
Coby Mayo better count his chickens too, because that man could have gotten traded to Seattle. And all we've ever heard is ain't no right-handers hit dingers in Seattle. So it could be worse. Go to Norfolk. Get you some dingers to left field, a short porch and right. Go to Charlotte like 7 times in April again and hit 9 dingers. Like, let's just be careful. You might get traded to the Marlins for Sandy Alcantara. Now you're in the big leagues, but it's not the big leagues.
Yeah, well, the Marlins might become the baby Orioles because they've already got Stowers and Norby too from last year. So maybe they just say, hey, we'll take all your hitting prospects to hope that works out for us in 2028. All right, coming up next, we're going to go over some aces, the aces list that was put out by CBS Sports. Actually, there's one in The Athletic that maybe we can do later on this offseason, which is running out of time. We're a week away from the start of the season, but we'll go over some aces, some maybe aces, some not aces next. Here we are. So let's show those Kansas City Royals powder blues. All powder blues. Just like the Orioles have the all orange, which I'm sure, Cam, you're a fan of. We loved it. And now we've got just straight powder blue from top to bottom. This is what MLB needs more of.
Yes. Now that beats those Orioles jerseys that I saw in all orange. Those things are beautiful right there. I love that. The white hat, blue bill. Now we talking. The kids are gonna love that. That's gonna hit with the kids for sure.
Yeah. Kratz, did you see the top comment on there? It said the Orange Crush versus the powder blue. That's going to be a color rush game. The all orange versus the all powder blue. That'll look good. I hope they do that.
Hey, this is a cap tip to Nike. We crushed Nike on here last year when we were seeing dudes junk through the uniform, when the top was sweating at a different color. Like, this is a tip. This is a hat tip. I think they go overboard in the NBA with all the jerseys. You don't even know what team's playing, but good for them. I think they hit this one on the head, and I'm all about an all orange, all baby blue. That powder blue is going to be – the whole stadium's going to turn powder blue. And it's cool, too, for the Royals because it's the 10-year anniversary this year, which will be celebrating the whole year of the World Series in 15.
Ooh, that's right. That's right. You went last year, right?
Yeah, that was for the American League Championship one.
Yeah, for the 2014. Yeah. All right, so they'll have some festivities. Maybe all of the guys will show up with the powder blue shorts and powder blue t-shirts. You want to stand out. Anyway, what do I know about fashion? Coming up next, we're going to go over aces in baseball. Who are they? CBS wrote about the difference between an ace and a number one starter. Every team has a number one starting pitcher. Not every team has an ace. He put out his 2025 list of current MLB aces, then gave us a possibly ace list and notable consideration, as well as could return to ace status. So first off, let's go through his aces. It's a pretty short list. Let's show that, and then we'll comment, because the possibly ace is where things get really interesting. I don't think there's going to be any disputes here, but you guys let me know. He only has 9 aces in Major League Baseball right now. Tarek Skubal, Zach Wheeler, Paul Skeens, Corbin Burns, Chris Sale, Cole Reagans, Logan Webb, Dylan Cease, Framber Valdez. We'll get to who else belongs on this list, but do we have any problems here? First of all, Cam, are we okay with everyone on the ace list?
I don't know that Cam's with us. Maybe he's muted.
We're going to guess. So Kratz.
I don't put my list of aces. We talked about this one of our first shows. We had a discussion about this. I don't think Paul Skeens is an ace yet. 2 years of doing what he did, ace. That is a quick path to get an ace status. I don't think Cole Reagans is an ace. And I don't think Framber Valdez is an ace. I think the other guys are aces. If we get to the next list, I think the next list has a one guy that I think is an ace. And I also think there's another guy that's closer to that list. But it's a small list. This is aces, not ace of your team, ace in the big leagues.
Wow. Okay. Here's the possibly true ace, possibly not list we're looking at right now. It's too long to name all of them. You're a small hall guy, right? We used to talk about small hall, big hall for Hall of Fame. I mean, for me, even Framber, you look at the last 3 years, OPS or ERA plus 131. He's getting you close to 200 innings a year, a lot of top 10 Cy action, pitching in the playoffs. I know that one can be debated a little bit. I don't think any of them are, besides that, are even close. I think Skeens was so next level, so outlier that he belongs at the top there. But then for me, Kratz, on this next list, I mean, I think Strider has done enough for me. I don't care about the health, because these guys coming back from elbow issues nowadays, they do come back, especially at a young age. Alcantara, come on. I mean, that's an ace to me. So we're on the same page there. I actually even think Shane McClanahan should be there as well. I saw enough from him before he got hurt. That's an ace for me. So for me, even I can see the case on Glass now because of the innings pitched, but that's an ace. And who else did I have on here that I liked? Blake Snell also for me was kind of deeper down in the list. I'm like, come on, For me, that's also an ace. I know there's been some inconsistency, but that's an ace.
We could rank the possibles, and who's up there. Obviously, Snell's up there on it. McClanahan, I don't think reached it. I think too many times we get enamored with ace stuff. We get enamored with, okay, you know what? He was hurt. So what does he come out? What does he give you? To me, that's why Strider and Alcantara, they hit all of those. They've done it for a few years. They have the stuff, and they have the production with it. Like those are the guys you don't want to see when you go into a city. And the Dodgers don't have any of those aces. It doesn't matter because they have a lot of the possible aces in their rotation.
Yeah, I just think nowadays, innings pitched, you have to go so much lower than you used to expect. So it should be a bonus, but it shouldn't be the only requirement, right? If a guy is going to be able to pitch big games for you throughout a season, but he misses starts here and there every year, I'm still going to put him in A status if I feel like it is A stuff and he's done it for enough time. And Skeens, I just think, is another planet that I put him there right away. Anyway, let's get back to Fort Myers, Florida. We're live right now with Brennan Bernardino sitting next to Cam. So let's bring him in. Cam, take it away.
Yes, my guy here. Kratz, he'll appreciate this. And Kratz, he likes to not call me a grinder, but I'm team grinder no matter what he says. Don't worry about the draft status. My guy Brennan Bernardino right here. He's a hater. He's a hater. I ended up being a grinder. I ended up being a grinder anyway. These are the type of stories that I think are important to baseball, Scott, right? The guys that are unsung heroes, the guys that come up big, been a huge part of this bullpen now, going on the third season now. Your story is so amazing. A guy who, when we envision ourselves getting drafted, we always have this plan, right? Our plan. But that wasn't the plan. Talk about being drafted by the Reds. Talk about how did you say, did you get traded to Mexico, essentially, and then coming back? So I just want to talk about your journey, how grateful you are to be here in camp, and how much fun it's been this spring.
Yeah, my journey's been kind of unique to me. I was a late round draft pick back in 2014. By 2018, I was released, signed again in camp with the Indians, and then I was traded. Like after a game, they called me in the office like, "Hey, you've been like traded or kinda? I'm not really sure, but you're going to Mexico." And I'm like, "Can you do that? Like, is that legal?" So I had to call my agent, but I am a dual citizen, and I did play against Kratz in the Premier 12. So I ended up in Mexico, and it probably was one of the best things that happened to me. As you know, like the veterans that take care of you, that's kind of like the best coaches you'll have sometimes. And I played with some good veterans with Fernando Rodney and Horacio Ramirez, guys like that. And they helped me kind of understand what I did well. And then that kind of shaped me up to when the Mariners had signed me. It was like, okay, now I know what I do and what makes me me. And I've been able to use that here in Boston.
So I want to just stay there. You talk about those veteran guys over in Mexico. My ex-teammate Fernando Rodney faced – what was the lefty? Who was the lefty from Oliver Perez? Oliver Perez was there, pitched forever in the big leagues. Who did you get the most from, right? When you came back, you said, okay, dang, this guy said something that really stuck to me, and you took it and ran with it, and it's been benefiting you now in the big leagues getting outs. I don't call you a lefty specialist. I say you're a guy that can get lefties and righties out. So, who was that guy over there?
That guy, I mean, it's hard to pick one because I've been blessed. Like people have reached out and have helped me, and or has seen something in me and wanted to help me. And I would say Horacio Ramirez helped me a ton because he was a lefty. Oliver Perez helped me a ton being a lefty, but Fernando helped me big time with the mental part of the game. And he was like 44 at the time, still throwing like 95, 96, just beating age, Yeah. And so I would say all three of those guys were like the three main ones that I can think of right now.
Love it. Ollie P, how many Miller Lights did that man drink?
I didn't see anything. That's why they like me. I don't see nothing, man.
Don't see nothing. Don't say nothing.
I don't see nothing.
He was a legend. We just talked about a situation where a prospect, 23-year-old Coby Mayo from the Orioles, got sent down to AAA. He got an opportunity. He got mics in his face. How many times did you get sent down, traded to Mexico, whatever it was, that you are glad now that you didn't have a mic in your face?
Happy. I'm happy. That I didn't have a mic in my face some of the times. In Mexico, there's no mics, there's no media, really nothing. And so now, like, it's just a whole different ball game for me. I'm kind of learning how to do this on the run at an older age. So it's been great.
Do you feel like you found I know it's a business, right? And you've
Yes.
been through a lot in your journey.
Mhm.
And I know just talking to you just for a little bit, bro, just you came in, you had the best energy, right? You just exuded good energy. You exuded gratitude. Like, how special is it for you to have this opportunity? Do you feel like you might have possibly found the home here in Boston, especially the way they used you the last 2 seasons? Where do you stand on that, or you just kind of keep your feet where they are and then just kind of take the business as is?
It is business, and I've seen it kind of how my career has gone as business. I would hope this is my home for a long time. This is where I'd love to be. And, day by day, un pitcheo a la vez, or one pitch at a time, and see where life takes me, see where God takes me and my family.
Let's see if Kratzy.
No.
Is Kratzy there?
Yeah. What did 30 years old at the big leagues not know about the big leagues that you know now at 33? I got called up to the big leagues for the first time when I was 30. And I was in the big leagues sitting like, dang on, some of these dudes do it at 21. Like, I felt like I still had to learn stuff because we had a similar career path, except I didn't get traded to Mexico. I got traded to the Blue Jays. That sucked.
Yeah. Both out the country, But yeah, I don't know. When I got to the big leagues, I felt like, you know what? I feel like I belong here now. And I think part of the best thing about me going to Mexico is if they would have had called me up to the big leagues at the time, to be honest with you, I don't know if I belonged. I needed to get better. There was things I had to work on. There was mental things that I had to know, okay, these are the pitches I'm going to, and I can really do this. I just don't think I was mature enough, to be honest with you, in the baseball field. Outside of baseball, I felt mature, but actually, I still feel immature in and outside of baseball. But I felt like I was ready when I got there. So I would say I couldn't have done it at 21 or 22. I don't think I'd have been successful.
Hey, Brennan, I want to ask you about the Red Sox organization because you've been there a couple of years now and what you've seen change since Craig Breslow took over. Obviously, he loves you. He loves all lefties. I feel like they're just drafting and trading and signing lefties and lefties. It's Crochet, it's Chapman, and just keep going down the line, right? There's so many of them, so many more just in the past couple of years. But what else? What are you seeing? I mean, last year, the pitching staff, I know, things didn't work out at the end of the season the way everyone wanted it to, but the offense was there and the pitching started off really strong. Some guys with breakouts. Is that because of a new plan and a new strategy from the organization?
I think so. I think we're a really well researched organization. The amount of work they put in to understand each pitcher individually, what he does well, like what I do well, and what we need to add going into the offseason or during season and pitch usage. It's always learning aspect, and they're always from game to game. We're looking at certain things, and there's no stone left unturned here. And I think that's been a huge help with our organization on the pitching aspect.
You talk about that a little bit deeper dive on the individual. And I know you talked about learning so much in Mexico, but what have they gave you that has helped you have so much success over here? I don't know if you want to give it. I don't even know if you want to give it away. But what is it that you're like, you know what? When I trust these things, when I trust this process, usually I come out in a good spot.
Yeah, well, we added a cutter last year. That helped me out a ton. And then now we added a changeup to go against righties. And then sticking with my bread and butter. Every year here so far, it's been...
You attack.
Thank you. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be on attack mode 24/7. And they just help me all right, let's do this, but this is your bread and butter. This is what makes you good. And then this is just icing on top. So I'm just trying to compete with all these 4 different things I have. And I just feel like they've done a great job explaining it to me in like my language.
Yeah,
You know, and they speak a bunch of different
our
languages.
immature language.
Yeah, my immature language. Yes.
Oh, okay. I always got to ask all these guys. I'm gonna ask one more. I got to ask these guys. Being in camp, I mean, Boston, a historic, nostalgic group, right? Organization. Who has really impressed you? Like I always ask guys, who has been like the guy that you said, man, this dude, pitcher, offensively, young guy, you're like, he's gonna be special after seeing so many different guys.
We got a lot. We got a lot. I would say right off the top of my head, for young guys, I would say Rafaela.
Yes,
He's
electric.
Just electric athlete. Him going from center field to shortstop last year, not many guys can do
Made
that.
it look easy.
It's like he just grew to belong on a baseball field. Like he was born for this. And I would say him, but I could say anybody really.
No, you said them. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear the guys that we just not thinking about. You hear about the young big three, the prospects, but he was a guy that could tilt the field. He can change the game in a heartbeat. So I love hearing that.
Well, this was awesome. Really appreciate it, Brennan. Really enjoyed the combo. Super inspiring too. So keep doing your thing, man. Thank you for joining us.
Team Grinders, Kratzy.
Thank y'all for having me on.
No, he's a grinder.
Thank you. Yeah.
You're a grinder. You are not, Cam, at all. You grinded. You did not. You are not a grinder. Big difference.
Be right back, FT. Okay, let's get to an injury. This one sucks. We didn't have time for the segment today, but we will hit. I'll mention a good one on the back end of this, but the bad news. Pirates manager Derek Shelton, this was not long ago, just informed the media that Jared Jones experienced elbow discomfort after his most recent bullpen, which was earlier this week. He's going to miss his next start. Conversations will then be had about how his regular season will start. This according to Noah Hiles, who's been on the show, who covers the Pirates really well. Concern level, got to be high, right? Young guy, throws hard, not even telling us more info about any imaging and all that. I'm like, oof. And this is a team that cannot afford to lose their standout players. They are going to be built around a young, exciting rotation. And if they're missing a link or two, they're really screwed. They're already probably screwed. All right. I don't have them as a playoff team, but if they're losing a player or two right away like this, this could be bad news. So I hope everything's okay. Jared Jones, fun dude. It was really great to watch last year, but we'll see. We'll follow this one for you.
It's tough. It's tough to hear any young arm like this. You never want to hear it. You never want to hear it. And it's one of those things that it's inevitable with how hard guys throw.
Yep. I think we might have to reset someone. No, you're good, Kratz. I think it might be Cam, but we'll get to him. The other side of this is Lance McCullers Jr. pitching on a mound for the first time in like 800-something days since 2022 World Series. Woo! Just good to see him back and on the mound. Obviously, still a road to do up downs and to get on a big league mound in a regular season game, but some fans just go out of control, like, oh, whatever, not going to see him. Now just watch those same fans, especially if they're Astros fans, if Lance McCullers is actually on the roster and he's pitching well, but they're going to be like this, Kratz. Getting off the screen.
Yep,
What?
yep,
I didn't say that. Let me delete that tweet. Hold on.
Yep. Their texts don't quite work the same. I texted him and he said the best part is he feels great today, which is everybody's hope after they come back after, what did you say, 800 some days? Like that's the best part is today he feels good.
Yeah, it's awesome. We'll try and get him on for a conversation at some point, whether it's, I would think at this point, just when he's back on a big league mound, that'll be the time where you take that deep breath, exhale, and you're back. So we'll try and get him. Here we are. We're back. We're going to finish strong. And I got a weird one for the last few minutes. So the Tokyo series was insane. It looks like numbers are coming out, which we can cover tomorrow, saying it was by far the most watched, regular season games or whatever in Japan, just crushing ratings, which you expect. Just like the World Series in Japan, just like the World Baseball Classic in Japan. I mean, they're all watching out there. But Cam, not everybody can be as lucky as AJ Pierzynski and shake Shohei Ohtani's hand like he did at Dodgers camp a week and a half ago. So what they did was, in his hometown, they made a replica of his hand, and you can go to the Shohei Ohtani, little shrine and give him a little shake, or please don't be weird. Just shake his hand.
Don't be weird, please. Just get your handshake and keep it moving. Hey, fandom is real. Shohei Ohtani is a rock star. I mean, this guy is as big as Elvis or Michael Jackson. He's Michael Jackson. I mean, whoever the biggest superstar is, that's him. I mean, this guy's incredible. You're big time, Kratzy, when they're making hands for people to shake because they'll never get that close to you. That's amazing. I love it.
That's crazy. That's crazy. What's Shohei's handshakes cost these days?
Yeah, do you got to put $1 in that machine to shake his hand? Like, will it shake back? Like, does it cost you to shake it? Or can you just go up? Like, how does that work?
Is it a true form? Is it truly a form of his hand, or did somebody they just guessed?
No, they had a step in for him. So they found someone who was a stunt double who had a very similar frame and hand size. They brought him in. They did the mold. No, I'm kidding. They probably actually did it. It was a kit. They send it to him. One of his people does it. And then they send it back, and now they've got it. Maybe next time you could do the whole Shohei, like the Wax Museum in New York, and then have the shake.
They'll have the whole full body Shohei.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, Scotty, just don't be weird about it. Let's go. Get your handshake and keep it moving.
Yeah.
I just felt like I had to put that out there. I don't even want to look at the replies to the tweets and all of that. Just a nice formal handshake with somebody who is bringing a lot of excitement and who is completely taking over Japan. I mean, he is completely taking over the sports.
And do they bow to
Japan.
it also? Because in Japan, it's a
yes, right. It's not handshakes. I was just there
it's not just
a couple
a
months ago,
handshake,
Cam.
So yeah, I'm curious.
I'm sure they'll do some AI where some VR, I should say, where he'll bow.
The next machine, the next handshaking machine will be AI, where you can actually see him and pretend you're talking to him. I like it. A lot of money to be made around Shohei. That's all I see is a lot of money to be made around Shohei. That's all I heard and saw.
Yep, rightfully so. Rightfully so. Hey, tomorrow Cam is gonna keep hitting up the camps. Last one on the tour. It's Braves camp. We'll finish with a good camp, and then Kratz, you're on pinstripe territory tonight.
I am. Me and Derek. And Cam, you are grinding down there. I see the sweat on your brow. It doesn't make you a grinder. It doesn't make you a grinder, kid. Still not a grinder.
Grinding and being a grinder are two different things. I learned that today on the show. I appreciate it, Kratz. Thank you.